Good morning, Honourable Minister, distinguished guests, colleagues and partners, of course our colleagues at FedDev Ontario, and the team from Windsor Essex Economic Development Corporation, and to all others who are joining us remotely via today's YouTube channel. My name is Wendy Kurz. I am the Executive Director of Newfoundland Community Futures Development Corporation, and on behalf of our Board of Directors and our partners at Windsor Essex Economic Development, it is my great pleasure to welcome today to the Venture 13 Innovation Entrepreneurship Centre in Cobourg, Canada's Minister of Small Business, Export Promotion and International Trade. Honourable Mary Ng was elected as Member of Parliament for Markham Thornhill in April 2017. Minister Ng is a devoted community leader who has always believed in the power of public service. She has 20 years of experience in the areas of education, women's leadership, job creation, and entrepreneurship. The Honourable Minister's commitment to strengthening the leadership position of women and the success of women entrepreneurs is beyond doubt. On March 8th, 2020, just over a week before the province of Ontario would announce a state of emergency due to the COVID-19 pandemic, Global Affairs Canada issued a joint statement as part of International Women's Day. Minister Ng and her cabinet colleagues affirmed that while recognizing the achievements women and girls have made throughout history, we must remain committed to the work that still needs to be done to ensure they have equal opportunities to succeed here and around the world. On May 16th, Minister Ng announced strategic funding and support to the Women Entrepreneurship Strategy of the Government of Canada, signaling that women-led and women-owned business support would be prioritized as part of the federal response to economic recovery and revitalization. I quote the Minister, Canadian women entrepreneurs are key to our economic success of the country, and they make invaluable contributions to our communities. However, women still face unique and systemic barriers to starting and growing a business, and they remain underrepresented in our economy. Thank you, Minister. Those comments are very true. Yet it is equally clear, as we all begin to reform and revive our approach to economic development and diversification in the wake of COVID-19, that women must be and will be at the forefront, and that support for women-led business will remain a top priority for FedDev Ontario and the Government of Canada in 2020 and beyond. Here at Venture 13, through our fintech-driven Delia Accelerator, which is a women-focused initiative supported by you through the Government of Canada Women Entrepreneurship Strategy, as well as our various programs of the Community Futures Program, which is heavily supporting risk capital backing behind women-led businesses, with the women of our staff and board who exemplify the entrepreneurial spirit, and with our many wonderfully inspiring clients and CF partners across Eastern Ontario, with whom we work to actively co-invest in innovation capital through the Rural Innovation Initiative across all of our programming. As an innovation NGO, I can say with certainty that our organization reflects and upholds the values of Government of Canada, is seeking at all times and in all ways to empower and advance the cause of women's entrepreneurship for the benefit of all. In fact, Minister, I just want to, aside from this subject today, also thank you, the Government of Canada, for making gender-based analysis plus easily accessible online to the Ministry for the Status of Women in Canada. Everyone at Newfoundland CFC has completed the 3 online courses, which have significantly helped us to broaden our perspective in making sure our initiatives and approaches consider the diversity of Canadians and the importance of all in participating and contributing to an inclusive society. So thank you for that as well. As we continue to seek equity in all of our efforts to achieve economic reformation and renewal, I'm certain that with the Minister's inspiring leadership, we'll move forward together in these uncertain times with confidence, optimism, and strength. Welcome to Venture 13, Minister. Okay. Thank you.
We're safely physical distance, so I'm going to remove my mask. Good morning, everybody. It's bonjour à tous. It's really incredible to be here with all of you virtually, but I am in Coburg today, and it's wonderful to be here at Venture 13. I want to begin by acknowledging that we are gathered on the traditional territory of the peoples of the Anishinaabe, the Huron-Wendat, the Haudenosaunee, and the Ojibwe Chippewa. And I want to thank Wendy, to you and to your teams here at Venture 13 and Northumberland Community Futures Development Corporation for making today's event possible. This is my first tour since COVID-19, and it's terrific that I'm here in Coburg and starting it here at Venture 13. I also want to recognize Steve McKenzie from the Windsor-Essex Economic Development Corporation for being with us virtually, and everyone in Windsor-Essex who's joining us today, welcome. It's wonderful to be with you. And here at Venture 13, we are seeing firsthand the innovation and the entrepreneurship that is happening. And many who are a part of this community will know that this community hub started out as a 30,000 square foot underused space. It was called Building 13. And a few years ago, the town of Coburg, in partnership with the Northumberland Community Futures, and with the support of our government, began turning this incredible space into a thriving center of opportunity for entrepreneurism and for innovation. And a lot has changed since then, but it really is terrific to be here and to see this incredible community of entrepreneurs, of businesses, that are thriving. And while we are doing things a little differently, that difference, it's just different. It means it is just as good, and maybe it's even better. Last year, our government invested an additional $1.3 million in the Northumberland Community Futures as part of our Women's Entrepreneurship Strategy as part of the Ecosystem Fund to help develop an automated financial lending platform that addresses gender bias. And today, it's really wonderful to know that 30 women-led businesses have been supported through that platform. And I know she isn't here today, but I know she's online virtually. My former colleague, the incredible Kim Rudd, who I know is, continues to do extraordinary work in the community, but very much a part of this work as we were working together towards the women's entrepreneurship ecosystem and all the good work we were doing in government. And I know she's here virtually, so Kim, hi. I want to take the opportunity to say hello. And this space here is really the perfect place to be making today's announcement. And it has long been a priority of mine to support women entrepreneurs and businesses, especially the vibrant and diverse, successful women entrepreneurs who are here today, all of you virtually, and to help work together, all of us together, to break down those barriers, to create the pathways for your success, because your success is Canada's success. And we know that women-led businesses and entrepreneurs still face the systemic barriers to economic success. You are disproportionately being affected by this pandemic for a variety of reasons. I have talked to many female-owned businesses, female-led businesses across the country, and I know that you're all wearing many, many hats right now and have been for many months. And we know that the domestic work still falls largely on women. And these days, while many of you are staying at home, you literally are working double hours and triple hours and wearing those many hats. We also know that women-owned businesses tend to be smaller. They tend to be more likely represented in some of the sectors that are being the hardest hit, including hospitality and retail and service sectors. And you're less likely to be able to access that traditional financial service and support around capital. And as our economy gradually reopens, Businesses are adapting their operations to position themselves for a successful recovery. And many women entrepreneurs need the targeted supports to be able to reposition their businesses for success as we move forward. It's why I'm so pleased to be here today. On behalf of my colleague, the Honourable Mary Ng, the Minister responsible for Economic Development and Official Languages, and today I announced a $4 million investment in the support of women entrepreneurs here in Northumberland and in Windsor, Essex. This investment, through our government's Regional Relief and Recovery Fund, will be delivered to women-led businesses by our partners, the Northumberland Community Services Development Corporation and the Windsor Essex Economic Development Corporation. Your two organizations have named this initiative, and I love this name, Rebuild, Reopen, Revive Initiative. It's perfect. And if there were lots of people here, we'd all be shaking our heads, nodding our heads, and I applaud you for, it isn't just the renaming, it's the commitment behind this renaming that I know is going to be the watching the back and supporting our extraordinary female entrepreneurs in both of your regions. Each Northumberland Community Futures, as well as the Windsor Essex Economic Development, will receive $2 million. It will be in non-repayable contributions of up to $5,000 to help women-led businesses with the key resource in order to reopen their businesses and to pay for those key reopening expenses. It's going to help with the purchase of personal protective equipment, adjusting your workspaces to accommodate social distancing, enhancing your online capacities to better serve your clients. And through this investment, it's going to be terrific to see over 700 women-led businesses in both regions that will have access to the financial supports that you're going to need, they're going to need to rebuild in the months to come. So this initiative now is open. So if you're a women entrepreneur in Southern Ontario through Windsor, Essex, or here in Northumberland, in the Northumberland region, both of the websites are now open, and there is information there to apply. This is the beginning, as I said, of my first tour day since COVID-19. And I'm looking forward later to be joining my colleague, Minister Mary Ng in Peterborough, and touring an incredible women-led business in the Kawarthas to highlight the additional $380,000 in support to women-led businesses through the Women's Entrepreneurship Fund. So to my colleagues here at Venture 13 and those at Windsor Essex, I want to thank all of you for your continued support for Canadian women entrepreneurs and business owners. And Wendy talked about this already, but the GBA Plus, the lens that we have put onto all of our funding decisions as a government in our budgeting, and certainly through COVID-19, our economic supports for COVID-19 have been put through a gender-based analysis plus lens. So whether it is boosting the Canada Child Benefit to help our working parents, to investing an additional $15 million to the Women's Ecosystem Fund, our government is committed to supporting women as we together navigate through this crisis. And in the weeks and months to come, we're going to keep working hard in support of women, in support of our businesses, our small businesses, our workers, and indeed all Canadians as we get through this together, where we will safely reopen to ensure the health and safety of our people, of Canadians, and at the same time, rebuild our communities. Thank you so very much. Merci beaucoup. Okay.
Well, thank you, Minister. I may take your lead if that's okay with you. I want to make sure I can actually Yeah. We're good? We're good? Okay. So first of all, Minister, on behalf of the Northumberland CFTC and our partners at Windsor Essex Economic Development Corporation, I'd like to thank you personally and the Government of Canada and of course FedDev Ontario for this wonderful opportunity that you've outlined this morning. It's perfect, honestly, perfectly timed as our communities begin to move carefully forward. We are ready, the two organizations that are ready today, as you mentioned, and we're actually quite inspired to support those hundreds of women-led businesses across Southern Ontario as the businesses, and I love the fact you love the name, rebuild, reopen, and revive. Both organizations, as you mentioned, were ready to go. I encourage anybody who is interested to visit those two websites, Northumberland CFTC, as well as the Windsor Essex Economic Development, where you can find further information about the program. You've outlined what we will center on, the acquisition of required mandated PPE, workspace reconfiguration, as well as some hardware, software upgrades to enhance online capacity, client servicing, and accessibility. We do expect high demand and encourage early application. It will be a competitive field. However, it's our intent to quickly assess the request, considering how the project might help in removing those barriers, how it will help in the business recovery, what innovations will be considered, and how jobs might be maintained or grown. So, Minister and guests, I would like to conclude this morning by thanking you all for joining us and requesting that you share this news across your ecosystems and your partners and encourage your businesses to consider the opportunity as it presents right now to help our businesses, help our communities, and indeed our nation to continue to move forward with optimism as Canadians always do. Thank you very much.